Last month, my roommate Jake decided to splurge on one of those fancy Roombas after catching me using a Swiffer to chase dust bunnies around the living room like I was herding sheep. At first, it was just a machine, quietly whirring in the background while we all ignored it and pretended we lived in a world where floors clean themselves. But then Jake, who's always had a soft spot for inanimate objects, he still talks to his cactus, printed out a label and stuck it to the Roomba. "Hi, my name is Steve." Suddenly, Steve was part of the gang. It started off harmless. Jake would say things like, "Hey, don't step on Steve." Or "Steve's on a mission, let him be." We'd laugh, because who gets that attached to a vacuum? Then, one Friday night, we were setting up for our usual game night, and Jake goes, "Should we deal Steve in?" Before we knew it, Steve had his own seat at the table, complete with a tiny stack of Connect 4 chips and a sippy cup filled with WD-40 for hydration. I figured it was just Jake being Jake, until Steve started actually playing. Now, I know what you are thinking, how does a Roomba play Connect 4? Well, turns out, if you put enough chips in front of him and let him bump into the grid long enough, he'll accidentally knock them in, and somehow, he kept lining up 4 every time. It was like watching a self-propelled slot machine with a gambling problem. We chalked it up to luck, but after Steve won 3 games in a row, my other roommate started accusing him of sweeping the competition, and not in the normal way. Last night, we held a championship round, and Steve was up against me. The room was tense. I tried my best, but all I heard was that familiar whirring sound, the clink of plastic discs, and then, bam, Steve had another Connect 4. Jake cheered, lifted Steve onto the table, and said, "He's not just cleaning up the living room, he's cleaning up a game night, too."